So we have our new segment that we're doing. I don't think that word means what you think it means. So we're going to talk. We talked about Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 last time. So I think it would probably make sense to talk about Genesis 3 or Genesis 1 3 this time. So we'll take a little detour and we'll go into Genesis 1 3. And I do this for a few reasons. I want you to understand the Bible because the best way, in my opinion, to get somebody out of the Judeo Christian matrix, the entire Abrahamic matrix, is to get them to actually read the Bible. But they don't want to read the Bible, so it can get a little hairy. So maybe by encouraging people to read the Bible, we can actually get them to, well, maybe do themselves a favor, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at Genesis 1 3. And we're going to just break this down and just see what the Bible itself says. And if you pay attention, I'll show you how to do it. This is Bible Hub. I don't own it, don't run it. But in verse 3, God said, "Let there be light." Now, this is for a hyperlink. So you click it and you get to a translation that'll let you do the interlinear. I hope it shows on the page. I'm going to have to go full screen. But it tells you the words, right? So in the beginning, God, the God of the Bible, right? Oops, no, it's Elohim. Elohim means gods, goddesses, male and female, more than one. So, oops, it wasn't the God of the Bible. It was the gods that said, "Let there be what? Hayah. Let it come to pass. Let it exist. Let it happen." That we get what? We get light. What is light? Well, light is what we are talking about. Oh, right there. They tell us light is illumination. So while the God of the Bible says, "Do it my way or burn forever," the gods, as revealed to us from the Bible itself, the script sure, they tell us that the gods provided for what? The gods provided for illumination. They said, "Let there be illumination," and there was illumination. So now we cheat a little bit. We go up here to Genesis 4, and the gods, we already saw that was Elohim. They saw that the light was what? Illumination, coming to your own sense of reality, your own sense of divinity, sovereignty, and freedom. What is it? It's all these good words. It's all these good words, right? It's all those good words. And the gods also divided. They put a separation. They set apart between what? Between the light, which is illumination, and between the darkness. What's the darkness? Well, the darkness would be what? Oh, ignorance. Do you know what ignorance is? Ignorance is you don't know. When you do know and you still don't do, then you move from ignorance into stupidity. Are you there? So God made a difference between the two. And what's the difference? The difference is what is between your ears. You do not have to outsource your divinity, your sovereignty, or your freedom. You don't have to do it. You can be divine, sovereign, and free within your own self. That's me. Yeah, we're going to just go ahead and end. We're going to end the jet fuel talk. It's gone on long enough. That's not what the deprogram is about. So I'm going to take out every jet fuel reference, and if you keep putting them up, I'll just take you out. Don't make me ban a bitch. Remember, I watched House before this show, and I get a little snarky. That's not what the show's about. Let's move on, guys. Come on. It's like herding cats around here sometimes. Even though I love all you cats, you know I do. You know I do. So don't be upset. But that's kind of, no more of the jet fuel talk. It's done. So, Let's do this. Let's go and look at some channel comments because the channel comments are always very, very interesting. These are the comments on my channel inside my YouTube, and you'll get to see a little bit behind the scenes here of my YouTube. Yeah, the doctor house. You'll get to see some of my behind the scenes here once I get it open. But I get a lot of great comments and I read just about every one of them. And in fact, if I don't respond to your comment, it's very likely that I'm actually trying to save it for this segment. So don't feel like you're being picked on because I don't read your comment because it's actually the very opposite. That is true. So let me get into these comments real quickly, and I think you'll see what I mean. We got a lot of smart people around here. Phoenix Rising said that the cupcake killed my mom. It would have been her birthday tomorrow. I tried to warn her so many times, but she went back for her third cupcake and it took her down. Terrible. Sorry to hear that. Randall Hilburn reminds us that, and this goes back to the East Gate that we talked about in the last deprogram. You can check it out on this channel. Randall reminds us that the whole region around Jerusalem is very geologically unstable and geographically. Any very strong shock to that fault line in the Mount of Olives will cause it to open up. And Randall points out here the money shot, so to speak. The scripture makes reference to what it calls lying miracles. It's well within the capabilities of present day technologies to produce for the ignorant and the gullible a seeming fulfillment of Bible prophecy, to make them think a certain individual is the returning one. The product of an artificial earthquake, just start with an unstable fault. They've got that in Jerusalem. Establish high barometric pressure dome over it. You can do that easy. Bounce a powerful EMF off the stratosphere above it. And when it strikes the high pressure dome, you have your earthquake. This is what produced the earthquake along the Turkey border a few years ago, when in defiance to Israel and Washington demands, the two countries started peace negotiations. You can't start some peace if we don't want there to be peace. We'll just blow it up. Now, here's Super Galactic. He says he's going to be straight with me, and he always is. I don't know if he always has his head on straight. I don't know if I always have mine on straight. But here's what Super Galactic said. Jeff, I'm going to be straight with you. And yeah, I already know you see it the same way. He says Donald Trump didn't just stumble into all of this. He chased it. That egregore didn't just show up out of nowhere like some innocent bystander. It was fed, pursued, amplified, intention after intention, focus after focus, like pouring gas on a fire, then acting surprised when it turns into an inferno. And here's the part that's the most laughable because it's so obvious. You don't chase something rooted in distorted energy and expect to stay small, or I might add, expect to stay smart. You don't keep knocking on that door and act shocked when it kicks open and floods your entire reality. That's not how this works. The more you feed it, the more this egregore grows. The more you chase it, the more it wraps around you. And eventually, it stops being something you're exploring and starts being something that you can't control. So, yeah, this didn't just happen to him. He built it, he reinforced it. He kept going back to it like there was something to gain, like there was something worth finding there. There isn't. You don't chase shadows and then complain when you're surrounded by darkness. This brother here, Wandering Reality, couldn't believe that I also said that we are probably the ancient titans. So, very interesting, right? Great comments. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor and like and share. Or if you hate the D program, put a hate on it, but just do some type of reaction. Just do some type of reaction. Now let's get back into what the focus of the D program is to be tonight. We're going to get into this rider on the white horse, just a little follow up from last D program. And then we're going to move right into what we're here to talk about tonight. Let me go ahead and shift this maybe a little bit like this. No, let's, there was a better way to do it. I want you to see these. So I'll just be down here in the corner. How's that? So the white horse of the apocalypse, and a lot of contributors, Charles, Randall, Cynthia, Colleen, lots and lots of people. Liquefaction. Yep, yep, yep. If you hit the dislike button, it counts as interactions, Divine. So the white horse of the apocalypse, appearing in Revelation 6, is generally interpreted as the first of the four horsemen, representing conquest. The rider carries a bow and rides out to conquer. We're going to talk about that. Many say it's Jesus. Thank you, conspiratary. Others say that it's a deceptive figure, but many theologians view this figure as a wolf in sheep's clothing who imitates Christ to deceive the world, being a political dictator who gains control over a global empire. Isn't that interesting? And unlike the Revelation white horse rider who holds a sword, this rider has a bow, and it doesn't mention arrows, but I'll answer that in just a minute. So it's interpreted as winning by diplomacy, deception, threat, rather than immediate violence. So just teeing us up a little bit. And of course, if we're talking about somebody that thinks they're divine, somebody that thinks they're a king, somebody that thinks they are Jesus, every one of these tweets, they're not really tweets, I guess. They're on Trump's Truth Social. So this is Trump putting every one of these things out. Trump is putting every one of these things out. He's the Pope, but he hates the Pope. He's Jesus. He's the king twice, and he's already been crowned as the king of Jerusalem by the largest Orthodox Judeo-Orthodox faction. Is Trump the rider on the first white horse? Well, somebody sold a lot of postcards of Donald Trump riding a white horse. Isn't that imagery rather interesting? Isn't that imagery rather interesting? And how about this one? Now, this has been doctored a little bit, obviously, but it really tells the truth. Here's the whore of Babylon. Is that Macron? And then that looks like the priest, I don't remember his name. Of course, here's Bibi, here's Ghislaine, and here's Jeffrey being healed by Donald. Here's Jeffrey being healed by Donald. Now, just a little follow-up on our last days are upon us. Just another look at the Trump conundrum. Trump ally warns that Pope Leo and Obama, both from Chicago, that they are plotting against Republicans. Obama's political network is working in coordination with Pope Leo. Why is the church working with the state? And they're trying to weaken Republican support among Catholic voters ahead of the midterm elections. So, and as we heard, who did we hear pointed out last night? Who said it? Morgan Freeman. He's pretty middle of the road. Morgan Freeman said Obama wasn't the first black president. He was the first half black president. I didn't say that. Morgan Freeman did. And Trump conundrum. Trump's not in the Epstein files. Trump is a good guy. Here's Donald Trump kissing a very young girl. Here's Jeffrey Epstein with that same young girl. Looks like it's the same room. It's probably the same night. Do you think that's all that happened? Here she is again, Trump and Epstein together with her. Here they are, two young women, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think this is all? I mean, I'm just saying, this is a little creepy. Trump conundrum. What do we do? It's a little creepy. Yeah. Gary Simmons asked, did Trump get Epstein's leftovers? Did Trump get the shrimp that Epstein didn't want? Wow. I just call it race mixer. That's what I call it. Oh my, folks. Oh my. Melania, I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. I was never friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I don't know, but Henry McCow put this out, and I don't by any means endorse everything Henry McCow puts out, but Melania, I was never friends with Jeffrey Epstein, but I did give him some open mouth smooches. It's good not to be Melania's friend. Here's Melania doing some pole dancing. I can't blame a girl for that. I was never Epstein's friend, but here I am kissing him on the cheek. I was never Epstein's friend. I was never Epstein's friend. Melania, maybe something was lost in the translation. It's not fake. I know that you may be English in your first language, but wow, 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 and wow. And oh, by the way, folks, in California court, Katie Johnson. Is this fake too? Come on. Katie Johnson is suing. She has filed suit in court. She's filed suit in court against Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. What's the complaint? Sexual abuse under threat of harm. You get enough smoke, there might be a little fire there. Oh, really? Well, guess what? Where's the ban a bitch? There you are. I just banned a bitch. Bye, bitch. So yeah, here we go. This guy, Randall Fine. I've never heard, he said the fear of Islam is rational. You can't be afraid of Islam. Well, I've never heard anyone shout, I love God before committing a terrorist attack. But in many terrorist attacks, before them you hear Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We need more Islamophobia in America, not less. I agree with that. But I think the phobia should expand to all of the Abrahamics. Well, if no one likes Trump, we could have had Kamala or Joe. Tammy, I don't think you're getting it. Tammy. Do you really think we had a choice? They're putting people in, and when you keep going out and voting harder, you're just legitimizing their show because it looks like people are voting. It doesn't matter if you vote. That's just a little opinion from me. Take it in the love with which it was delivered. So we got to get these terrorists out of our country. But then again, Randall Fine is a former gambling industry executive. He's a Jewish fellow. And you just wonder if it's all a game. And the answer is, of course, yes, it is all a game. But then again, on the other side of the Trump conundrum, right? 5 million children have signed up for Trump accounts. And the initiative is aimed at building long-term financial stability for young people. And the federal government gives $1,000 to every child, to every single child, and they start gaining interest on it. We quit voting, Tammy. We burned the damn thing down. Loudly lost. I think that's exactly what Jesus meant when he said, oh, let them children come to me. I've done deep programs on that. And it's very, very enlightening. You can check them out on this channel. And oh, by the way, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. Lori Franzway is in the Epstein files. There she is right there. That's her email address. And it's not speculation anymore. Edward Snowden leaked documents that listed her among National Security Agency personnel. Erica Kirk's mama is among NSA personnel. Erica has used at least 11 confirmed identities in public records. That's a lot of identities. Who changes their name all the time? Oh, yeah, we do know that. We do know that. Her Majesty, correct. She says it's going to suck until the people rise up. It's what we're talking about tonight. Yeah, Francve, whatever the hell her name is. How many ordinary people leave that kind of paper trail? She doesn't sound like an ordinary mom to me. Doesn't sound like an ordinary mom to me. And oh, yeah, by the way, Erica Kirk was planning a big party, big event. She said she had to cancel it because there was too many threats. But a few days later, the Secret Service said no, there was actually no credible threats. And I've seen pictures of the arena. It was 3/4 of the way empty. Speculation is that Erica canceled the event because of poor ticket sales. And maybe it's because people started seeing this. Maybe people started seeing this. And if you try to advertise your channel on here without asking me, you will be taken out, and repeated offenses will cause you to be banned. So don't be rude. Ask. Because if you ask, I probably say yes. But if you just try to jump the feed, well, you see what happens. Are you seeing this picture here, folks? Here's a photo of Erica Francve leaving a orphanage in Romania. She was just doing some, just doing some charity work, right? She was just doing some charity work. And she's coming out of this Romanian orphanage with Ellen DeGeneres. And who's that holding the door? Oh, it's Jeffrey Epstein. I get you, Howden. And they got two little beautiful blonde-haired little children with them. I wonder where they're going. I wonder where they're going. That's supposed to be Erica Kirk right there, but ChatGPT won't give Erica's doing God's work. They won't render Erica accurately, and they don't like to render Jeffrey Epstein accurately either. They didn't do a bang up job on me either. I look a little toe up there. I look better than that. Come on. I look like I'm better than that. Loudly Lost says that you've been saying this for years. I have. And some people are listening. I told you this one already, but new documents have confirmed, and you have to give Candace Owens credit for bringing this out. Erica Kirk used to work directly for Jeffrey Epstein. It's funny, interesting that Charlie said don't talk about the Epstein files anymore. Maybe he found out Erica was in them. Erica Kirk worked for Jeffrey Epstein's modeling agency, and she ran the place. She ran the place that housed the models, but she didn't know anything. She didn't know anything. Erica JonBenet, was at New York Model Management in New York City between 2015 and 2017. That's where she worked. This is from her own CV, as they say. I just call it a resume. I don't think that Erica Kirk is JonBenet, but hey, if I found it out, it wouldn't surprise me. What I think is that this Erica JonBenet internet rumor is a feint to divert us from the real truth about Erica Kirk. And by the way, some breaking news. There's now a lot of speculation that, just want to make sure I'm not missing anything good. And I want to thank a great subscriber for a $100 donation. I know a lot of people don't like to have their names put out there. And I also got a nice $4 donation too. So I appreciate that very, very much. Jama sent me something. It's a picture of huge scandal. Brina Naus, daughter of Epstein and Melania. Ooh, we'll have to feature that on a future deprogram. This girl does look a lot like a Erica or a Melania Epstein progeny. I was going to say production progeny, got caught kind of in the middle. So is Erica Kirk, John Benet Ramsey? See, it's blowing up everywhere. And here's that they may be planting the seeds for a faked assassination of Erica Kirk because they've realized that they can't move forward with her as a head of Turning Point because she's been compromised by the information that's already out. So the Dipster is saying that they're going to fake assassinate her, move her to Israel, or send her off to Valhalla with Charlie and Jeffrey. Trump would go for it. My gift, this guy says, is seeing the future. So yeah, I got a little bit of that in me too. I don't buy that NS. Charlie wasn't going to blow the lid off of anything. I think he was bought and paid for. I really do. But that's me, and I don't think he's dead. I 100% don't think he's dead. Her Majesty says, nah. Jen Benet. Who's Jen Benet? Jen Benet. She's probably by this time, has taken her medicine. You know what I mean? And the typing is a little bit off, but that's okay. That's okay. Wow. Unreal, folks. Unreal.
Hello, everybody. Jack Graham here with Erica Kirk, and we are at Prestonwood in our worship center thinking about anticipating a great event coming up on April the 29th. It's called Making Heaven Crowded. And you're going to speak?
Yes, and so are you.
I'm going to speak.
What is happening here? Something is not right. We need to understand what is happening inside of these churches.
We live in a culture that is just endlessly curious about things that don't matter.
This is the first move, deciding for you what matters and what doesn't.
That's always been my biggest problem with the Abrahamic matrix, and specifically second wave Abrahamism, which is Judeo-Christianity. If you ask questions, you're bad. If you think for yourself, you're bad. And actually, the scripture actually says for you, it actually commands you to take every single thought captive to the obedience of Christ. It actually says, I have the mind of Christ. It actually says it's no longer I that live, but Christ that lives within me. Is that a walk-in? Make yourself a living sacrifice. Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Curiosity can totally derail us as Christians.
Curiosity can totally derail us as Christians. Don't ever say that Erica Kirk didn't say something that was true. Because if you get curious, and if you just get curious enough to read the Bible, it can totally wreck your Christianity.
Completely. And it doesn't allow the Lord to use your life in a way that glorifies him.
This is the most serious part. Curiosity is no longer framed as neutral. It's framed as spiritually dangerous.
Erica Kirk just got caught promoting yet another creepy fake Christian pastor who allegedly covered up some very dark crimes in the Southern Baptist Convention. Jack Graham, the lead pastor at Prestonwood Baptist Church, was featured in the report on the alleged widespread crimes within the SBC. But Graham has repeatedly silenced accusers, blocking anyone on social media who asked him to address the allegations and claiming the whole thing is a hoax, despite the full-blown federal investigation. And now Erica Kirk is platforming this same pastor as part of her Make Heaven Crowded tour. And let's not forget, this isn't the first disgraced pastor Erica endorsed. She previously invited Pastor Greg Laurie as the main speaker on her tour. The same Greg Laurie who was accused of covering up a trafficking operation in Romania linked to his megachurch. So how many shady pastors does Erica need to push in the spotlight until Christians realize they're being played? She's literally mocking you. She's putting these creepy men on stage and watching you applaud, fill the seats, and open your wallets, and she's laughing all the way to the bank. but it goes deeper than that. Erica is platforming these fake pastors not only to mock Christians, but also to track them and steal their data. According to independent investigators like Zach Costello, they have been tracking phones at every major Christian church on the West Coast. We're talking California, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, including churches affiliated with Turning Point like Scottsdale Bible, North Phoenix Baptist, Palmcroft, and others.
The Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also listed on a FARA registration numbered 7653, paying a company called Show Faith by Works, LLC, over $4 million to geofence Christian churches and congregations around America to educate them about Israel.
Not only do they have tracking your phone technology, but they have facial recognition in all of these big churches. Are you kidding me? And people continue to just blithely go along with it. I don't get it. Watch this one.
This video should terrify you. She's part of an experiment, but she doesn't know.
Don't be like
Now you
this.
see these people?
Christians,
They're in on
don't be
it.
like
You
this.
see, she's facing the elevator exit. They're facing a wall that leads to nowhere. But because they're all doing it, watch what she does. She eventually folds and turns towards the wall, heading nowhere. Now maybe she was just a follower, but now the guy in the white shirt is part of the experiment. Everybody faces towards him. He looks confused, but in a short period of time, he turns around and conforms. Now this is where it really gets crazy. He's the victim, right? They walk in and they face him, and he looks really, really confused. Eventually, he folds like everybody else, but then he starts to spin exactly like how they're spinning. Crazy, right? The harsh reality is that this is how most people are. It's easy to laugh and say that you would never be a sucker that does this, but most people don't understand the magnitude and how much people they're around affect their behaviors. It would be wise for you to be careful about who you're around, because everybody's a free thinker until they're in a room with a bunch of people facing the wrong direction.
Ask yourself if what you believe is a result of your own beliefs, or is it the result? Well, Trump didn't legalize psychedelics yesterday. He signed legislation to fast track the consideration of psychedelics. And I am a micro dosing mushroom guy. So I'm glad about that. And Joe Rogan showed up to do it. So crazy. Please, guys, think for yourselves. That's all I'm asking you to do.
You guys still aren't getting it. Christian men use the blood of Jesus and innocent people, like babies, to cover their sins. That's the whole fucking religion. Hi, I'm a sociologist of religion that grew up in Zionism, deconstructed, studied to be a pastor, and then got a degree in sociology. And I've not stopped thinking about this for decades, because I'm autistic. They aren't practicing Satanism. They're practicing Christianity.
Boom.
And Judaism. These are just Zionist men. What the elites are practicing that gets them to fuck kids, eat people, drink blood, whatever the fuck, is not Satanism. It is Christianity.
Boom.
At its very fucking core, the blood sacrifices, forgiving their sins, giving them power, is Christianity. And that belief comes from Judaism and their blood sacrifice rituals. And this has been a part of this practice since before Christianity even started. Before Jesus even got there, it was part of the thing he was really fucking pissed about. That's why he was flipping over tables and shit, and they killed him. He came here to wake people up to what was going on. And then a certain guy named Paul, who was a Pharisee, who was a...
So anyway, you're starting to get the point. This is your God. And just think about it for a minute. The very basis of your religion, correct me if I'm wrong, I've only got 200,000 hours of study in the Bible. I was only a pastor for 25 years. I only have a Bible college degree. But when your basic belief of your faith is a human sacrifice, I don't care how you slice it, Jesus was a human sacrifice. and his dad sacrificed his son. Now we can argue the semantics. Was Jesus murdered by the Father, or did he commit suicide? Well, the Catholics have some things to say about that, but these are the things that I think about. And these are the things that I hope you'll think about. Are you ready to get into a little bit of the indoctrination tonight? Are you ready? I think I'm ready. Let's talk about quantum immortality. Have you ever heard of that? Yes, it sounds like something out of a science fiction thriller, but it actually comes from a very specific interpretation of quantum physics. This is science. See all of you coming in. Great to see you. The core idea of quantum immortality is it's based in the many worlds interpretation, that every time a quantum event happens, there's multiple possible outcomes, and all the outcomes do happen, but they happen in separate branches of the universe. So instead of one reality, you get constantly splitting multiverses. And I'm of the opinion, and this is just my opinion, but I'm of the opinion, folks. I know a lot of you watch on your phones, but I'm just, I want you to see the actual content. So we'll do it this way. So you can go back if you want to look at one of these slides. But I'm convinced that is sort of like string theory. It's kind of the next step from string theory. And I'm convinced that we can actually choose which multiverse we want to inhabit. It's not a trap. It opens more possibilities for us. And I'm still studying, and it's really self-work, spiritual projection. I want to leverage all of the other Jeffs and all these other dimensions and focus their power into me, and I'll do likewise for them. Loudly Lost says that, I don't know if it's a she or he, that they died a couple of times and woke up in a parallel universe. And this person's very Mandela affected. And I think the takeaway from this is that you don't really ever die. You just go to a different life. Very, very interesting, isn't it? So imagine a life or death situation. In one version of reality, you survive, and the other one, you don't. You just don't. It's a he. Okay, Loudly Lost. So in both, both of those outcomes occur, but they're just in different branches. And your consciousness always continues in the branch where you survive. So from your own perspective, you would never experience your own death, I guess, unless you wanted to. And you always find yourself in the surviving timeline. But let me add this. I'm convinced, and Cynthia's brother is terrified of this, but that's why I preach divine, sovereign, free. That's why I preach that. Because if you can get divine, sovereign, and free in this life, you'll be divine, sovereign, and free when this life ends, and you'll be able to choose to go where you want to go instead of being directed to a place where somebody else wants you to go. You can choose your own branch when you're divine, sovereign, and free. It's more than just a slogan to me, folks. And the question is, and here's a question I have for you. Where does no decision leave you existing? Because I always hear the Christians, well, Jeff, wouldn't it be better to worship Jesus and be wrong and wind up in heaven than to not worship Jesus and wind up in hell? They see it as a dualistic either or. It's not. My choice is, it's like somebody was talking about voting. Very nice lady Tammy was talking about voting. Hope I didn't run her off. But you got to vote for Trump or Kamala. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm not going to go to hell, and I'm not going to go to heaven, nor I'm going to go wherever the hell I want to. I might have to come back here and try to straighten some of you fools out. I just might. But if you don't make a decision, I'm going to choose Jesus as eternal fire insurance, you ain't going to a good place. And guess what? Yeah, if you drink lemon or lime with your mushrooms, it greatly enhances the effect. you're going to wind up in a soul farm consistent with your beliefs. If you believe that you're going to heaven, you'll be sitting on a harp somewhere, sitting on a harp playing a cloud, sitting on a cloud playing a harp, but it won't be your destiny, and they're still using your energy. If you believe you're a bad person and want to go to hell, well, guess what? You'll wind up in a place consistent with your expectations. So expect better. Expect better. Divine Sparks used to get so mad at me. She had her King James Bible out, was trying to rebuke what I was showing. And yes, she's still here. Kylie surprises me. Kylie says, yes, citrus really does help with your microdosing. Always good surprises, Kylie. Always good surprises. And if the universe constantly branches, there will always be a version of you that survives. And the takeaway here is, if I might suggest it, if you might consider not milk, not milk, Arnold Schwarzenegger once told me, milk is for babies. Although I do take the heavy cream on my coffee. We don't just survive, we shift. Do you want to shift to where you're told to go, or do you want to shift to where you want to go? And this is why Hebrews 9:27 puts this fear. Man's appointed to die once. Says who? Do you know that before the Abrahamic religions came to be, nobody was convinced that we only live once? That's just Abraham X. And after that, you're going to face judgment. Not if you can become divine, sovereign, and free. Not if you realize you're the last generation of real humans. I'm just saying. Not all timelines are equal. Some are better. Some are controlled. Some are controlled. You opt out and you don't get to participate in making the calls. Wow. Survival, as I define it, is being routed into a specific branch of your choosing. Why do you want to be steered through timelines? Why do you want to be moved through probability fields when you can be divine, sovereign, and free and decide where you want to go when you're no longer here? Death is actually a reset. It's a transfer. It's a reroute into another existence. If you never enter the dominant frame of this earth, which is Abrahamism without a doubt, do you just reload and go to another version of your choosing? Of your choosing? This is why Romans 8:11 is so diabolical. If the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you, he will also give life to your mortal bodies. That word mortal, you ought to look it up. That word mortal means that which is subject to death. It's a reincarnation matrix. They reincarnate you and use you. They reincarnate you and use you. They reincarnate you and use you. They reincarnate and use you until you can't be used up anymore. And then they just discard you into the astral dust. That's what the Bible promises you. And here's where we fall victim, I think. We fall victim to these frames and paradigms that say, trust the dominant frame guardians. And they understand this multiverse. That's why they're trying to herd you into the multiverse of their choosing. They exploit probability. They incorporate rituals and they force decisions. And are these decisions really about locking yourself into a timeline? But remember, you can get out of every deal you made, including the deal you made with Jesus. I'm just saying. To me, it kind of feels like intentional hidden order in order to control you, but that's just me. But if you can get this idea, you'll no longer be afraid of death, because you'll be of the mind that says, it's my choice. It doesn't matter what happens to me in this life. And so many people in this life won't stand up for what's right because they're afraid. They're afraid. And you'll understand that when you come under stress that these aren't random events. And if you don't succumb, you won't be likely to adopt these control efforts to drive you into locking into a particular frame or timeline. Why would you want to do that? Don't you want to be divine, sovereign, and free forever? But these hidden control systems that tell you you got to do this or that, you can always void the contract. Thank you, Indiana. Why are they trying to drive you? It's almost like they know that it's related to your moral essence. So here's the big question. Do control system drivers replace choice and the uncertainty and responsibility that goes with sovereignty in exchange for a story that feels like certainty? Is this how religious frames lock you in? This is a question. Only you can answer it. Now we're going to move into another concept tonight. We're going to talk about the destroyer. If you're familiar with the Kolbrin Bible, you know about the destroyer. If you're familiar with, I would be interested in DMT. If you're interested or have read about the Planet X, the Herculuba, stuff like that, this is kind of what we're talking about. And many of you, when you hear the word the destroyer, you think of Shiva. Shiva is pictured as dark or negative, and that's really not right. It's not even close to right. Because destruction, again, we get back to the Abrahamic duality. Destruction is not the same, or excuse me, destruction is not the opposite of creation. It's part of the same cycle. Just think about your lives. Like me, I was fat. I got all the way up to this time, 228 or something like that. And I made a decision to destroy that lifestyle. And that was also the creation of my new lifestyle. That's got me losing weight like a Ethiopian famine victim. Divine spark, that might be a diversion. Shiva being at CERN. Shiva doesn't destroy randomly. Listen to this. Shiva doesn't destroy randomly. He destroys what must end so something new can begin. Every time you've had, absolutely, I do the cold plunge. John Peters, nice to see you. Great to see you, brother. Every single time that you've started something new and better, you had to end something else. And we've been talking about this world. There's no fix in this world. It's doomed. It needs to be burned down and started again. What is the Shiva destroyer about? Ending illusions, dissolving ego, breaking attachments, and clearing out what is outdated and what is corrupt. In many depictions, like the one I used for this deprogram, you see the third eye opening to burn away ignorance, really to burn away stupidity, because ignorance just means you don't know. Stupidity means you do know, but you still won't do. So this destruction is always internal first. You have to destroy old identities. You have to destroy false beliefs, and you have to destroy these control mechanisms that are hurting you into an afterlife of their choosing rather than your own. This is why I've never had a cult, because I don't want to be responsible. I'm not your spirit guide. I want you to guide your own spirit. I'm not your guru. I want you to be your own guru. I'm not going to help you ascend. I want you to master your own ascension. I'm not going to answer questions. I'm going to question answers, because my goal is to get you to ask questions and to question answers. That makes you realize you've got divinity inside you. That makes you sovereign. And as you begin to act and walk in your sovereignty, that's what leads to freedom. I hear Mel Brooks, freedom. And one of the most powerful dances, one of the most powerful images is Shiva, the cosmic dancer. Now, I know Hinduism is another thing of Abrahamism, but just like Christianity and Judaism, they stole stuff from us, the great heathen people. Shiva dances in a ring of fire. One of his feet is crushing ignorance or stupidity. One of his hands is offering protection. Another is pointing to liberation. And the dance represents creation, preservation, destruction, and liberation, because you're killing ignorance and you're killing stupidity. Divine Spark with a great key. And Marnie talks to me about this a lot. Your ancestors are your ascended masters. Wow. Because you're mine. Oh, I fell into a burning ring of fire. Actually, Shiva's a dude, but reality's not static. Reality's not dualistic. It's a continuous process of disappearing and reappearing, of refining yourself. Shiva's not just some mythological figure. I want you to begin to see Shiva. I want you to begin to see Shiva not as what you used to think, but get a new realization that it's a symbolic model of reality where you destroy frames that are not of your choosing. Frames are the way you see the world, the way you live your life. Destroying frames that you didn't pick. And when you break these frames that you didn't choose, but yet you're still living in, your whole world changes, your identity changes, and you realize, hey, I'm divine. Your world will change. And you feel a little disoriented. That's okay. But that's this Shiva energy. That's the destroyer energy. And if you're feeling that right now, that's because your mind is becoming too enlightened. Especially if you're watching these deep programs, you're becoming too enlightened. And you can no longer believe or accept this story that's been beaten into you by the dominant frame, by the dominant paradigm. But here's where I used to fall short. I was really good at getting people information that allowed them to leave Christianity, but I was really bad at saying, where do you go from there? Because nature truly does abhor a vacuum. Our kingdom is within us, J. Bing. Very good. We have to form a new belief. And for some of you, the first step out of Christianity is atheism, because you say it's all bullshit. And then you'll realize, oh, religion is bullshit, but God isn't. There is a God. There is a God. Please share and like and subscribe, whatever channel you're on. No, I don't. If I knew the name of the supreme God, Arthur, that wouldn't be the supreme God. Things are beyond knowing, things of that nature. But once you find a new belief, and let me encourage you, this is what I did. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm suggesting go back to who you are. Find out where your people come from and look at those gods. Look at those goddesses. And I can almost guarantee you that you will feel an affinity with a number of them. Or just be your own God. Just be your own God. And here's a takeaway. This is a writer downer. Cynthia likes to say the Great Spirit Kylie, smarter than most, says she never got to atheism, just to agnosticism, which means I'm not sure. And to be totally frank with you, Kylie, which I always am, none of us are completely sure. But creation never happens without destruction first. And this world's past saving. We can't fix it. It needs to be burned down and started again. And this cycle will never stop until you decide to stop this cycle. And once you do this, you'll feel very, very powerful. You'll rebuild after a collapse. And that's what Shiva, destroyer energy, really is. The destroyer is the force that removes what's no longer real, so that real change of your choosing can emerge. That's good preaching. Now, we turn another corner. It's been suggested to me by multiple people that I, Jeffrey Daugherty, am the destroyer of the Kolbrin Bible. Am I the destroyer of the Kolbrin Bible? Is it me? Has the destroyer been identified? Well, let's look into that a little bit. And let's do that by looking at the Kolbrin destroyer. And I am going to show you every single occurrence of the destroyer in the Kolbrin Bible. Don't worry. There's only about 20 of them. So the destroyer, striking, mysterious, is in the Kolbrin Bible, which is a kind of a compilation. Suchi says I am. It's a compilation of a lot of esoteric books. And most of it's Celtic. Oh, Jeff, it's Egyptian. Divine Spark says I am. It's Egyptian, but the Egyptians were from Ireland, so they were Celtic too. So this is Celtic information. It's a Celtic information. So the destroyer is described as a celestial object, comet, rogue planet, fiery body. It's associated with fire in the sky, earthquakes and floods, darkness and atmospheric chaos. It's a bringer of global catastrophe. And this globe has to have a catastrophe. This flat earth, wherever you are, has to have a catastrophe. It has to, because it is beyond being fixed. But it's not a one-time event. It's a cycle that repeats and continues. Was it the Great Flood? Is it responsible for the downfall of civilizations? Is it the resets? The idea does line up with theories that Earth undergoes cyclical catastrophes rather than one single end-of-the-world event. I think that's very, very compelling. I'd invite you to think about it a little bit. So there's two ways to interpret the destroyer. One way is that it's a real astronomical body like Nibiru, Planet X, Hercolubus. And I think that's true. And also, they say that it's a metaphysical interpretation, cycles of destruction and renewal, which is also true. I have lit a few fires, haven't I, Indiana? So both, I think the destroyer is both a physical body and a esoteric phenomenon. What does it do? It collapses corrupt systems. And if you could point me to one system in this world that's not corrupt, is religion corrupt? Of course it's corrupt. Are politics corrupt? Of course they're corrupt. Is our financial system, Hollywood, school system, are they corrupt? Of course they're corrupt. Do they need to be purified? Of course they do. Do we need to go into a new age? Of course we do. We need a new order for the ages. And on Wednesday, we're going to talk about the secret. Is that? Yeah, next Wednesday, I'm going to talk about the secret symbolism on the dollar bill. You think you know it, but you don't. I found this old book It's amazing. We're going to see some really, really good stuff next Wednesday. So the destroyer is powerful because it shows us there's something bigger than humanity. It shows us that judgment and corruption reset need to happen and that old structures must collapse before something new can emerge. You never did anything good until you destroyed something that was bad. And since you have the spark of divinity within you, it should become no surprise that this has to happen on a cosmic scale as well. This has to happen on a cosmic scale as well. You have a role in challenging ideas. You have a role in breaking down these chopped, busted, disgusting frames. And if you're drawn to this, like our wolf friend, you're on our side. The destroyer really is someone who questions, someone who probes, and someone who forces clarity. In that sense, I am the destroyer, specifically of the Abrahamic matrix. I'm here to say, ask questions. I'm here to say, question answers. I'm here to say, probe. I'm here to say, look for clarity, something that makes sense to you. You may not understand everything. You may not understand everything, but it will make sense. Golden Shell says there's correlations between Irish law and the Rig Vedas because they stole it. Well, to be fair, we went and gave it to them and they latched on to it. So, might I suggest that you consider adopting a couple mantras? Here's one. I explore disruptive ideas and I challenge assumptions. I am a cosmic or prophetic force of destruction. Just consider those. Just consider those. No, you aren't the literal destroyer, but people might call you that because you disrupt narratives, because you trigger reflection, because you don't just accept surface level explanations. That's possible. So, as I shared before, multiple people have told me that I'm the destroyer. And what does that really mean? What does that really mean? It means that they're not necessarily seeing who I am, but they're reacting to things that I say. It gets them to think, and that's all I'm here for. I'm not the cosmic destroyer, but I am willing to question things that almost nobody else will touch. That much is true. And at the end of the day, maybe the destroyer is not a person. Maybe it's a moment when something false in you can no longer continue to survive. And yet, it kind of makes sense. Because that's a picture of one of the iterations of the shield of my people, the Daugherties. And the name Daugherty means the destroyers. So literally speaking, I am a destroyer. And do you see at the very top there, you might have to zoom in, maybe later on. What does the hand of the Daugherty have clutched in it and it's crushing it? It's a reptile. Am I a destroyer? Yes. Am I crushing reptiles namely the Abrahamic matrix? Yes, I am. So am I the destroyer? Well, let me share this with you. How large is the Daugherty family today? How large is the family of the destroyer? The worldwide distribution of our name, along with its many variants, well, I looked it up. And today there's about 50,000 of us. 50,000 people carrying the great name of destroyer. There's 50,000 of us. There's 50,000 of us, folks. 50,000 destroyers. And here's a picture. Here's a family reunion picture. Not really, but it could be. These are the old Daughertys. So my name means the destroyers. We grasp a reptile in our hand. And by the way, we kidnapped St. Patrick and made him our bitch. And oh, by the way, there's only one clan in the history of humanity that we know of that's never been conquered. Who do you think that is? The Daughertys have never, ever been conquered. And I'll guarantee you, I won't be the first. Now, it has to be said that we lived out on Donegal and a bunch of rocks. Maybe they figured those people are just too damn crazy. Let them stay out there all by themselves. Loudly Lost, that's the highest compliment I can get. He says that he has destroyed a lot of Christian stuff with what he's gotten from me over the years. And I don't enlighten anybody. I don't bring anybody out of Christianity. Only you can do that. And hopefully I've given some of you some information that you've been able to leverage. Look at this. I said, Chat GPT, make me look like the dude in the middle. There I am. There I am. Oh, Smoochie. Got to get my Zen position just right. Smoochie says, you missed your chance to wrangle snakes back in your Christian days. Actually, I didn't. Thank you, Loudly Lost. A beacon in the dark. I appreciate it. I was at this church, and I still today remember the name of this church. It was called the Mount Valley Rose of Sharon, Bright and Morning Star, Liberty, Rose of Sharon, Bright and Morning Star, Lily of the Valley, Rose of Sharon, Apostolic Church of God. I'm up on the platform and getting ready to preach. Kind of a little old church. And they brought the snakes out. Smoochie. This dude dances by me with a damn rattlesnake, falls off the porch. Behind the podium, there was a door. It was hot, and it was opened up, and he danced his dumb ass right off the porch, fell, broke his leg. When they brought out the snake, Smoochie, I picked up my Bible. I picked up my briefcase, and I got the hell out of there. So I have actually wrangled snakes. 41 Indiana, I think I made the choice. Cynthia gave me clearance today out of the blue. Didn't even ask her. She says, if you want to grow your hair, you can. I think I'm going to do it. So, but I love this. Isn't this kind of cool? There's the Hercolubus. There's the Life Rune. There's Jeffrey Daugherty. So here's all the mentions of the destroyer in the Kolbrin Bible. Let's look at them. There was a new Egyptian interest, which is really a Celtic interest, in finding the old God of Abraham because he defeated them through Moses, as the story goes. Thank you, Divine Spark. In this work, this Kolbrin contains accounts of these people, and it talks about a massive object called the destroyer that's prophesied to return. And this indicates that the Kolbrin Bible, as it relates to the destroyer, is initially a search for a way to defeat the God of the Abrahamics. And this gives us context into our understanding of just whom the destroyer is coming for, right? Is the destroyer against? The God of the Abrahamics. He taught them mysteries concerning the wheel of the year. Marnie gave a great text of this, and the Abrahamics invert the wheel of the year. The wheel is divided into the summer half and a winter half, a great cycle of 52 years, and 104 years is the cycle of the destroyer. And Marnie, very studious, she said the medicine wheel, the wheel of the year, whatever you call it, starts in the east. The mind. It goes to the south, which is the body. It goes to the west, which is the heart. Then it goes to the north, which is your spirit. That's the real order. That's the proper order, because it builds. You build in mind, then you build in body, then you build in heart, then you build in spirit. And as you move through life, you walk the wheel many times over and you build your life. You build your relationships. You build your medicines. I'm learning about medicines. Mushrooms, nicotine, some other things that I won't talk about. But the Abrahamics, they use the wheel in reverse. They start in the north. And I remember the old song, Hail Mount Zion in the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Their king, not our king. They destroy our relationship with spirit. That's the north, the spirit. And the best way to destroy your relationship with spirit is to hijack it. And so you can't seek spirit. You have to do it our way or you're going to burn forever. They destroy our relationship with spirit, and then they go backwards. And people will not know who they are if they don't go back to their ancestors and develop a relationship with them. We have to start somewhere. And this is a lifestyle, not a hobby. It's a lifestyle, not a hobby. And I want you to notice that the destroyer cycle is set at 104 years. And I thought it'd be interesting to look at the history of the United States in relation to this idea of the destroyer cycle of 104 years. And I know a lot of your products of public school, but when did the United States get founded? 1776, right? So 104 years, Tanhawk Group says the only unforgivable sin is to blaspheme the spirit. I would agree. But it's not blaspheming their spirit, which is the north. Tanhawk, you're right on it. But it's to blaspheme your own spirit. Deny your divine spark. Deny your sovereignty. Deny your freedom. That's real blasphemy. And that's unforgivable because until you stop doing it, you'll never be able to enter into your own enlightenment, will you? You'll never be able to walk your own path. You're walking a path that somebody else laid for you. Yes, I am, John. So 104 years from 1776 would bring us to 1921. On January 2nd, 1921, the first destroyer cycle in the life of the United States as a nation. On January 2nd, the first religious radio broadcast was heard. Wow. On January 21st came the first full-length Hollywood movie production. In May 19th, the Emergency Quota Act passed the U.S. Congress, limiting Jewish immigration. And it was there that the idea of Jews going to Palestine was first created. Wow. Wow. Ooh, Tanhawk says repentance seems to be a pole shift from north to outer. And, we talk a lot about pole shift. What if the real pole shift is you shifting from north to where you're supposed to be oriented, which, where did Marnie say we start? We start in the east, which is your mind. And there was a great American philosopher, I think his name was called Method Man. He said, free your mind and your ass will follow. But if you stick your head up that same orifice, your mind will never be enlightened because your ears are full of shit, which I would define as anything that is not original understanding from your damn self. Wow. That's heavy, isn't it? Also, something that John from Tulsa will be aware of. In 1921, we had the so-called Tulsa Race Massacre. Mobs of white residents attacked black residents and businesses in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you, Kali. That's the height of my philosophy. Yeah, white residents did attack black residents in Tulsa. But as Paul Harvey used to say, which none of you remember, here's the rest of the story. Do you know why those white residents attacked those black residents? Well, because this black dude that couldn't get with this white girl tracked her down, caught her, raped her, and I think killed her. And you know what? If the next time some black guy rapes a white girl, if the Tulsa effect took place, I think we'd see a lot less of it. Also, in 1921, the first live sports radio broadcast. Are you starting to see a theme? And in 1921, a Catholic priest, well, he got unalived because he shot a priest that solemnified a mixed race marriage to his daughter. I'm just saying. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle attended a party, maybe it was a pizza party in San Francisco, and this actress named Virginia Rappy, but I mean, that looks a lot like rape, doesn't it? She was fatally injured, and yet he was acquitted of rape and manslaughter. We think it started recently. It didn't. They targeted us a long time ago. Do you know that in 1921 we had the first Miss America who happened to be 16? And the first White Castle. HT calls it goy slop. It is. Fast food. Did you know that John Gacy's dad owned a lot of KFCs? Remember Mary Fagan? Old World Florida and I talked about the Abrahamic institution of fast food. What it does to you. Very interesting, isn't it? Also, the Tomb of the Unknowns, known as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, was created. How many people have died in Abrahamic wars? World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Hell, we got another war going on right now. And an interesting historical note, make of this what you will. Do you know we never had a world war until we had a world religion? Before the Abrahamics came along, there was none of this, our God's the only one. If you don't follow us, you're going to hell. That didn't exist. Nobody killed anybody because they wouldn't convert to their God, because we didn't want you converting to our damn God. Our gods are tribal. They're for our people. I'm sorry. If you're black, you're not part of our people, and that's okay. You got your own gods. I don't want to take your God, and I won't be in favor of you taking mine. And let's face it, Christianity is not a black man's religion, a red man's religion, a brown man's religion, a yellow man's religion, and it's not a white man's religion. It's a religion of one people, and they're entitled to their religion. Oh, Arthur. Did John Wayne Gacy inspire Ronald McDonald? I believe Ronald McDonald was around before John Wayne Gacy, but it's still an interesting thought. And also, the Chi Epsilon Chi Jewish high school sorority, they started in high school. It was founded 1921, the first destroyer cycle in the history of the United States of America. And do you know when the next destroyer cycle starts? Now. Started 2025, but history's a little Right now is the second Herculubus, the second destroyer cycle. It's hitting us right now. And think about the destroyer as a cosmic entity. Think about the destroyer as a spiritual entity, getting rid of ignorance, destroying what doesn't serve humanity anymore. We're at the start of a destroyer cycle. Can we make it the last destroyer cycle? Can we make it the last destroyer cycle, please? And do you know that in olden times, great monsters and beasts were tearing people apart because of heavenly rebellion and turmoil? Is this when Rabbi Laitman says they came through a portal to our dimension from another dimension? Rabbi Laitman said it. I didn't say it. And because of these people, the land became unstable. The beasts were changed to stone. Now we're into, what's it called? Mud Flood University or whatever, where you see all of these giants that are literally turned to stone now. Animals, people, turned to stone. Kolbrin's covered that. Mud Fossil University, sorry. And when the destroyer appears, men see an awesome sight, great black rolling clouds. Opens its mouth, belches forth fire, hot stones, a vile smoke. The skies are darkened. Sounds like Matthew 24. Sounds like Matthew 24. The places of the stars were even changed. The places of the stars were even changed. It's starting to sound familiar, isn't it? And the destroyer passed away into the fastness of heaven. A lot of correlations with Noah. A lot of correlations with Matthew 24. And if you notice, Smoochie, sorry, but the waters above opened and the waters below opened. And the opening of the waters above and the waters below does not necessarily mean a flat earth. It just doesn't. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Woe unto us, your servants. One is to be born of a woman whom you have ravished. He'll be a slayer of kings, a contender with the gods, and his hand will be against you, you Abrahamic God. Men forget the days and the ways, I might add, of the destroyer. Only the wise know. Only the wise will get this. And that's okay. Most people scatter in madness. They seek refuge within the things of earth because they can't bear to be destroyed by the breath of the destroyer. What's the breath? The words. And these are the signs that will precede the return of the destroyer. Nations rise and fall. Men will fly in the air as birds and swim in the sea as fishes. Yep. Men will talk peace with one another in hypocrisy and deceit. Yep. Women will be as men and men will be as women. And watch this one too. It's not just the homosexuals. Passion will become a plaything of men instead of the sacred union that it is meant to be. This is what it's like when the destroyer appears. Earth splits open from the heat. Flames shoot up through the surface. They leap about like fiery fiends. The moisture in the land is dried up. We're seeing that. Oh, that's Bible prophecy. This is way before the Bible. Just saying. And when the dark days of the destroyer begin, men fall silent. They have pale faces because they can't believe they were wrong. It's bright and fiery. It's changing and unstable. People talk all the time, Jeff, you change all the time. It's not a comet. And the earth turns over, pole shift, shift of the wheel. You picking up what I'm putting down? There's a lot of moaning. Have you noticed that the Abrahamics are really moaning? A lot of moaning going on. Corpses were cast up out of their resting places, and they were walking around the side of man. Wait a minute. When they tell us in the Bible that when Jesus, can I stand up? They tell us in the Bible, no, you won't see me, that when Jesus got on the cross, right, we're told that the dead came out of their graves and they walked around. It was like Walking Dead in reality, right? Walking Dead. Pole shift, spiritual pole shift. And the seed of men was stopped. It's a terrifying message. That's why there's moaning and groaning. Living corpses. Is that the cupcake? These people walking around, are they like living corpses? They are. The rapture says that the dead will come up first. Is that more kosher disclosure for us? Are the cupcakes and the rapture the same? Now there's something to think about. We see living corpses. Christianity is living corpses, right? It's no longer I that live, but this Christ entity that lives inside me. Dave Weiss is on to something. I like this standing. We see all of these. And then the seed of men is stopped. Empty vessel, says Claudette. Human fertility is being stopped, folks. Human fertility is being stopped. Wow. All this is happening right before our eyes. The destroyer groaned with the agony of Egypt. Even the great one, the firstborn of Pharaoh, died. That's back to Exodus, right? Was Exodus a destroyer event? And the invaders were led by somebody called Alkenan. They came up out of the land of God because the wrath of heaven had laid their land waste. Remember we went back to Genesis 1:1 and 1:2? That was the last deep program. It's on this channel. Check it out. We showed from the Bible that it was the earth was created perfectly. According to Isaiah, in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. And then Isaiah said that they weren't created without form and void, but that's the way Jeremiah saw them. And Jeremiah knew there was going to be confusion. So he said, here's what you got to understand. The earth was created perfectly. Go back to the last deep program and watch it. The earth was created perfectly. And then something happened, and the earth became without form and void. See, I even say it because it says in King James, and the earth was without form and void. Every single where else in Scripture, that word is became. The earth became without form and void. Why? How? According to Jeremiah, it was from the wrath of the Lord. He destroyed the perfect earth. It was a plague of reptiles, a plague of ants. Thank you, Claudette. This is great stuff. And the destroyer came and swept the grounds and stopped the breath of men. Alkenan, he's called in the Kolbrin. And it's interesting that the word Kenan, Kenan, its meaning can be interpreted of Hebrew origins in several ways. It means, it comes from the word Q-anon. Q-anon. Are you hearing me? And it means to acquire. It means to possess. It also implies sorrow. Maybe Kenan composed dirges. The destroyer comes to tell people that stuff is broke, busted, and disgusting, and it can't get any better. It's time to burn it down and start again. We've often discussed the invaders. Here we see a group of re-invaders. That's us. They came, they destroyed, they came from another dimension. Rabbi Lightman says they came as slaves. They came as a sleeper cells to destroy, and they did. This is an account of us taking it back. Taking it back, Jack. A land laid waste from the professed God of men. He and his people from beyond, from the other side. They're described as a plague of reptiles. They're also described as ants. I think you'll find this very interesting. They came out of the heavens. They laid our world waste, and we fought back. In Numbers 13, 13 is an interesting number. The spies had gone out into the land, which was on the other side of the Jordan. They came from beyond. They came to our world. This is trying to teach you something. And they were here to take it over. And what did they report back to Moses? We can't go up against these people. They're stronger than we are. If you don't hear anything else I said tonight, know this. We're stronger than they are, and they know it. Why are you buying their lies? We're stronger than they are. And the people said, there's great people there. They're strong. They're sexy. They're the Nephilim. Who's the Nephilim? The destroyers of the Nephilim. We're the Nephilim. And we seem like grasshoppers in their own sight, and we must have seen the same to them. You know, our world got wrecked when we stopped seeing our enemies as grasshoppers and turned them into the chosen people. This world will get better when we realize who we are and when we realize who they are, the Abrahamics. And the breath, the words, the sayings of the destroyer contrast today with the breath of the mere men and the invaders from the other side, from beyond. They're not us. We're not them. And yet we got these crazy Christian identities that want to be them. You're not them. But guess what? You've joined them and you will reap what you've sown. And right now, their hearts are being filled with terror. They're remembering and they're knowing that we know that we beat them back in Genesis 1-2. We beat them in Egypt. We beat them in AD 70. And we are giants, Jama. And we're going to beat them again. They know it. They know it. Their household, the household of faith of Abrahamics, whether it's Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, they're being scattered. They're being exposed. And they're already half dead. And you know, the Bible talks about having the second death. What do you realize that you can't have a second death without a second birth? You can never suffer the second death unless you're born again. Let me say that one more time. You can never face the second death unless you're born again. And they teach us that the only way to escape the second death is to be born again. It's almost like it's a conspiracy. It's almost like Rabbi Laitman's right. And can we look real quick at Revelation 20? Revelation 2.0. Death and Hades were thrown in the lake of fire. Whoever's name was not written in the book of life was thrown in the lake of fire. Do you realize it didn't say the Lamb's book of life? There's a real book of life. It's the people that are divine, they're sovereign, they're free. And the opponents of that are going to be destroyed. It'll seem like a lake of fire. So what happens after? What happens after the destruction? And any of you ladies that have had a baby, you see the beautiful thing that comes from all that pain, and you do it again. What happens after the destroyer? Good times come again. Ships sail upstream. Uh-oh, that's a flat earth. Air's purified. Land becomes filled again with growing things. Life renewed throughout the whole land. Sounds like Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, doesn't it? The destroyer will come like a whirlwind. The opponents will dread the day of his appearance, and the works of ignorance will go away. And the destroyer will come again, and the land will suffer. It's going to strike out of heaven at a time when it looks like there's prosperity and peace. When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them. Trump, peace and safety. Judaism, peace and safety. Christianity, peace and safety. It'll be a time when men worship the works of men and say there's nothing greater than these. And it'll be a time when women are as men and men are as women. Yes, that speaks of homosexuality, but what else does it speak of? Androgyny. That's the seed of the Abrahamic matrix. That's what Epstein was working towards. That's what Galatians 3:28 says. There'll be no more male and female. They'll be androgynous. This is how men can be in the bride of Christ. They'll seek nothing but pleasure. Craftsmen are inefficient. Have you ever seen how things are junk compared to the way they were? But be alert and strong. Be ready for the day of the next visitation, because the next visitation won't come until we're ready. We'll talk about that in just a second. Doom's going to come down from the skies, and man, unredeemed, non-last generation of real human man, will be blasted with an irresistible power. I'm telling you, we win. Yes, Lady Lost. The twin flames lie was to lead us into androgyny. So, Jeff, what do? We come out of Christianity. What do? Well, you've been waiting for it. Here it comes. This is what you do. Here's the laws which will give you strength to survive. Here's the laws that will carry you through your hardships if you remember them well. Thank you, Carmen. I think it's awesome too. Don't eat or drink to excess until you stagger. I watch Rooney walk around and he looks like he's staggering. I'm not saying don't drink any. I don't. I think you're better if you don't. Don't touch a drop. Don't be fat. Well, I got a hormone imbalance. The the worst thing I ever did, and I would do it again because it needed to be done. The worst thing in Cynthia's eyes that I ever did, I was preaching at the True Vine Church of God in Christ in Tacoma, Washington. I was doing my altar call, and this big old lady came up to me. Oh, Brother Jeff, pray for give me some of that forehead sweat and pray for my stomach to be healed. I said, go sit down. She looked at me like I was crazy, and the church came to a hush. I said, if I pray right now, your stomach will get healed, and you'll go home and eat a pound of bacon and a whole damn thing of ice cream. She went and sat down. A couple nights later, she came up. We prayed for her. I went back to that church a year later. She'd lost like 50 pounds. It took. Don't waste your substance in fornication. Stop taking girls to Ruth's Chris on the first date. You're a damn fool. Why are you going to spend all that money just trying to get laid? Come on. Be smart. Don't cut yourself in the manner of the Easterners or suck blood. What could that be talking about? Oh, maybe circumcision. Don't eat blood. What's the communion? Oh, Jeff, that's just symbolic. We're just symbolic cannibals. I wouldn't take Ozempic. Ozempic is bad for you. Don't do it. One of my dearest friends got on Ozempic. Yeah, he was fat. He got on Ozempic. It destroyed his kidneys. Long story short, he died. Look into peptides. There are peptides that can do the same damn thing Ozempic does. Maybe not as fast. But have you seen some of these Hollywood stars on Ozempic? Don't do it. Look into peptides, I'm telling you. And don't be involved in blood-eating rituals. The Catholics are at least honest. They say, yeah, we have transubstantiation. It literally becomes the body of Jesus and the blood of Jesus. The Christians, they're not so honest. They say it's just symbolic. Oh, so you're just symbolically eating the body of Jesus. You're just a symbolic cannibal. You're just symbolically drinking the blood of Jesus. It's just symbolic. I just realized I didn't have the chat up tonight. Show it on the stream. There you go. Don't act with a man as a man acts with women. You won't have to. I just use Ruth Chris as an example. You don't have to be a Bible scholar to figure out what that means. Here's the rules. Not everybody can live because many must perish. Many must perish. Where some must die that others may live, let the weak ones die so the strong can live. Where the choice of death is between a man and a child or a woman and a child, the child, if it's instructed and capable, shall live. The means of life shall be placed with the child and the woman, and the man will take his chances. Because we're supposed to be able to do that. That's what this guy here would say. Where the choice of death is between young and old, the young will live, the old shall die. Unless the young is stupid, then let the old live. JDV. When the choice is between the death of the wise and the foolish, the wise shall live and the fools will die. Who decides? Let the one who is to die decide who lives. He doesn't have a horse in the race anymore, right? Where few among many can hope for life, the craftsman shall survive the unskilled man, the wife, the maiden. The husband shall survive the fighting man, and he who has no wife. The child, being capable and instructed, shall survive. The scribe shall survive the craftsman. The scribes are important. The sister survives the brother. We got to make for the creation of the race, right? The magistrate shall survive the priest. Thank the gods. If there's one thing we don't need, it's priests. Preachers. We don't need them. And the YouTuber that will say anything just so they don't have to work a real job, off with their heads. Off with their heads. The whole man shall survive the maimed man. The whole woman, the maimed woman. Knowledge will survive strength. Skills will survive. Goodness will survive wickedness. Let the most instructed in wisdom decide. Joy shall survive gloom. He who carries himself cheerfully shall survive the one that's always moaning and freaking groaning. Love will survive hatred. Look, even he who shall not be named said, our work cannot be based on hate. It has to be based on the dissemination of information, which is true love. The selfish man will not live. Let the woman live. The strong will not survive the weak. The fool will not live and the wise die. Don't let the unskilled survive the skilled. Where there's a chance for life, the strong will take that chance, and let the weak ones figure it out for their damn selves. We've got to stop subsidizing. I mean, I'm all for a societal safety net, but no societal hammocks. If you're not willing to work, then go out there. We're not giving you one more damn thing. There's not a lot more of these. The kind survives the selfish. The brickmaster shall not survive the scribe. Scribes are important. We need people bringing truth. We need people bringing truth. And speaking of truth, Dagger dropped some truth on us. Ozempic, you do lose weight, but you also lose muscle. No, under no circumstances should you take Ozempic, period. Peptides. Look into peptides. They're natural. If a priest says, am I not the best to live? Well, are you not the most ready to die? Ooh, there's some responsibility when you sit in my chair. Look, I don't want to die. I got a lot more work to do. But everybody dies. Great Horatio said, the thing is to die well. And how much better could a man die? Or a woman? This is for you ladies too. Facing impossible odds, we are. Jeff, we need numbers. No, you need numbers. I don't. Because the way to die well is facing impossible odds for the ashes of your fathers and the temples of your gods. And I'm ready to go out just like that. But these are hard things. Let us pray we never have to use the sword, but don't let them rust. We are people of peace until you push us too far. Don't do it. Don't do it. How do you live best? By serving best. He who lived the best hope of life was the one that held the most promise. And if you're here tonight, God, you got a lot of promise. God, you got a lot of promise. Did you know we're companions in suffering? Times are tough right now. Times are tough. Me too, Dagger. Don't be taken alive. Don't be taken alive. There's things worse than death. There's going to be some misery. There's going to be some sorrow. It's always been around. We're always going to have trouble. You can't climb a smooth mountain. You can administer peptides are also administered through a injection. It's not that. Don't be a baby. I'm just saying, don't take Ozempic. But you're not going to be tested beyond your endurance. And remember, this life is not that big a deal. We're coming back. Come back the way you want to come back, by being divine, sovereign, and free. It's a hell of a way to die, absolutely. Let the Klingons say, today's a good day to die. I'll die on my feet. I'll never live on my knees. And the Kolbrin Bible said, and I say Amun, all who worship the unknown God must be brought down to judgment. It's time, cousins. It's time. And Dagger's an inspiration. He's been through a lot. When I start saying, man, I don't want to do this, I start thinking of Dagger. He's one tough SOB. The gods out of the wilderness. Are they your friends when they say they'd place a knife in your backs? You saw the little midget, the chain-smoking midget, Andrew, what's his name? Wilson, told me, we're just going to play nice and then we're going to shoot you in the back, you heathens. Kolbrin Bible, he was quoting it. Remember that the image of all that there is also here. Our gods are here. They haven't forgotten us. We've forgotten them. Remember your gods. I always say, hail Dagda, hail Danu, hail Dawn, hail Bridget, hail Morrigan, hail the ancestors. Try it. You'll like it. Got hung up there for a minute. One will come seeking us, but we're not going to be here. They'll reach out to the red lands, the Edoms, but we're not going to be there anymore. We're gone. We've left them to their own devices. We've left them to their own devices. The end here is the beginning in another place. I didn't even plan that. Isn't that beautiful? Death here is birth elsewhere. I didn't plan this. I love it when things work out because they're supposed to work out. Life is a wheel. I didn't plan to share Marnie's email. Life is a wheel. with no more mark, no more than a mark between birth and death. Do you know, as Tannen here says, the fear of death traps people? When you're ready, when you realize all this, when you're divine, sovereign, and free, you quit worrying about death. And wow, like I said, I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid to die. And there's freedom there. May the great governing powers be gracious towards you, my kin, my folk, my cousins. This is the beginning. It's not the end. But remember the destroyer cycle. Their end, the end of the Abrahamic matrix, is the beginning of returning the world to the divine, the sovereign, and the free. Sanctified forever be the name of the Most High. That's my name, the Most High. That's how I put it into my head. The great lords of eternity, they now sit in the everlasting halls. You can join them. May the sun ever rise in the glory over your fields. May you enjoy peace and prosperity here and rise in splendor to a life of beauty in the region of light. Remember light? What is that? It's enlightenment. It's knowing. Our destiny lies in the north. The completion of the wheel. The wisdom of olden times is being replanted in this land because we seek to change the established order of things. We seek to change the present state of affairs, and we are and we will. We'll finish the job. Such is not the nature of men. They're all afraid. And we have an impossible task if we try to change the natures of man. Someone just gave me a comment earlier. I'm through trying to change people. And I'm through. I got invited by Ben Balderson, gray guy, to come on this debate show. I'm done. There's no more reason for debating. There's no real desire for truth. I'm not going to waste one more second in a debate with someone that doesn't care anything about truth. Therefore, we'll either speak openly and die, or we'll become enslaved. Let us grow up in light, which is enlightenment. And it will be seen in the generations to come. We're almost done, I promise. I'm enjoying this, though. We're going to go on the wings of the sun. The retin-A of the breaker of heads. Some heads got to be broken, folks. I am one acknowledged as being pure of hands and shall be with those who serve under the head of the Most High, or the Great One, which is an interesting phrase. We will leave many in sorrow. Many of our own great kinsmen have decided to throw in with the God of Abraham. They will reap what they've sown. But we will not allow them to diminish our stature. If you are a race traitor, you can't stay. And when you leave, it says there will be no races in Genesis 3:28. When you leave your race, I'll leave that right there. I continue with awe. And when you get here, you're going to get some strange powers. You'll be a person of courage, born to fearlessness and good, strength and beauty, courage and modesty. That's our heritage, and it was chosen by those who gave us life, our ancestors. And there are some dark powers that would drag you back, but you are not for them. The Abrahamic religions are not for the white people, the black people, the red people, the brown people, or the yellow people. They're just for one people. And they're entitled to their religion, but it's not your religion, is it? I don't know what you mean by the monad. Let the light be ever with you, like a watchman's fire on a lonely road. I feel like I'm on a lonely road a lot of the time. You folks bring me through many, many times. But we need to be protected from the formless ones. And on the last D program, we showed that David said he was formless in the womb. He was a golem. Jesus came from golem, from David. As you grow, may your thoughts ever seek to inquire. Don't stop learning. Don't stop asking questions. Don't stop questioning answers. These are the things that spur you to venture forth, to be better than you are. Even those adversity. Adversity can be your greatest teacher. Adversity calls you forth to seek your gods and to seek truth, and it drives you along this great path. But one who sits following the ways of other men is not a man who moves along a path of his own choosing. Is your spiritual journey... I love my ringtone. Stop it, Smoochie. Is your spiritual journey one of your own choosing, or are you a spiritual grandchild? Do you know what is your spiritual heritage? Have you chosen one for you, or are you following somebody else's frame? Don't turn your back on your friends. Makes you less than a man. Carry gladness in your heart. Never cease to wonder at the marvels of life. Talk to birds, talk to trees, hug trees. Look at life as a man and not as a cattle. They call you cattle. They call you cattle. We do need to get with our own folk. So does everybody else. Wonder at the sun, the thunder, the dew, the stars, the sandstorm, the murmur of waters. Never let your eyes be dull to the trees or the harvests. Let your heart be hungry for knowledge. You're not allowed to seek knowledge in Christianity. Let your heart be hungry. Hate lies. Shun the coward. Walk with men who learn manly ways. I know you'll do the right thing. I have faith in you. If you ever don't have faith in you, remember I have faith in you. Live the life of a man. And then the Most High will leap out of the heavens and welcome you to the realm of the gods. Isn't that what you want? This one's hard for me, folks. This one's really hard for me. I got to tell you. Because it says, age should think while youth should act. And youth needs the considered guidance of age. Old men for counsel, young men for action. That's hard for me because I still think I'm a young man. But I'll be 63 next month. May 23rd, I'll be 63 years old. I got to learn to let HT and his young guys be the men of action. I got to be the thinker. I guess that's why they call me the big brain on Goyim, even though it's kind of ridiculous. I just can't get out there anymore and do what they do. And to really serve my people, I just can't. But then it says, age wisely and carry no regrets. Speaking to me, I didn't know that was coming. Just know you've lived well. And isn't an old eagle better than a young sparrow? Thank you. I needed that. I needed that. That's a good idea. Throw knives. I like that. I got my knife right here, Steve. Don't listen to these strange tales of the tongues of men. They can't remain silent. Their falsehood stalks boldly throughout the land. There's never been a proselytizing religion until Abrahamism came along. We don't want to take our gods to people that aren't our people. They got their own gods. How can the wise reply to the ignorant when wisdom is exposed to ridicule and truth to persecution? That's why I don't debate anymore. Cynthia's been telling me for at least 5 years to stop doing it. And I finally realized she's right. She's right. I should have listened to her earlier. Expose the folly of the wickedness. I don't have to be in a debate. If what was his name? Chris Putnam was still around, I'd debate him every day. Because he was a man of integrity that would actually have a discussion. The ears of rulers are closed to the words of wisdom. The doors of their heart are bolted against truth, because they're all into this presuppositional epistemology now. To reply wisely or give good counsel from the books of wisdom is to invite scorn. I'm tired of their scorn. It's just not worth it. Not anymore. Ignorant men raise themselves to high estate by falsehood and deceit. Nobody raises their hand or voice against them. Therefore, their ways are acclaimed and emulated. Truth is mocked and justice reviled. Don't cast your pearls before swine. I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it. Me too, Odin, Dagger. I think I'm middle-aged. I'm 63, but I think I'm middle-aged. Things are so bad right now that we have to look at brothers as foes and sons as betrayers. As a white man, I have white men saying they will stab me in the back. My own racial brothers. And there's not that many of us left. It's so bad that even if you're just out trying to plow your field, you got to have a shield and a sword because they want to stick you in the back, these cowards. When a woman's ravished, people turn away. They don't even protect the women anymore. A man that won't protect a woman is not worth living. Did I say that on YouTube? Yikes. Spearmen gather together in bands, but the standards they bear are not those of justice and truth. All of these Christians that are afraid to discuss, they put these memes up of themselves dressed like warriors. They don't have justice. They don't have truth. The men of blood. Who are the men of blood? What are the blood-based religions? Judaism, Christianity, Islam. You didn't have any of that diabolical stuff. They're eating flesh and drinking blood. Their core is a human sacrifice. Do you want to be part of that? But this is their day. They're not really men because they came from another place and they're bringing us into their golem existence. What I would do to journey to a land against the earth, everybody needs to have a homeland with their own people. White people don't need the whole earth. Every race should have their land. People don't understand that the power of the gods is sustained by the spiritual devotion of the people. The gods get strength from us. Because when the people fail their God, that God fails the people. When you keep giving and giving and giving to someone and they don't give back, what do? You go on, if you're smart. Strange bowmen have entered our lands. They're spoiling our people. Their delight is suffering. The greatest delight they have is in the crucifixion of Jesus. What is that other than suffering? The time comes when the man without cattle eats meat, and those that raise the cattle have to eat herbs. That's what they want. Many days' labor becomes kindling. They steal it with taxes. Such is the state of this land. It's a land of sorrow. It's a time of tribulation for us. It is over for this country. It is over for this world. Here, things cannot change for the better. This present world's beyond saving. It's time to burn it down. And I leave all these things in your hands. My hands stretched to you. We can live in glorious perfection if we look to the great gods who are eternal. They will give us enlightening lessons. They will warn those who follow the dark night of ignorance that overshadows our land. The Most High is benevolent to those that serve with purity of intent. You don't have to get it right. You just have to want to be right in your heart and your intention. You can fail. The only way you really fail is if you quit trying. I'm going to close with this. Let's break down the message of the three angels in Revelation 14. We're just going to break it down real quickly. Don't worry. We're just going to break it down real quickly. The message of the three angels. Are you ready? Let me go to Bible Hub real quick because this puts a bow on all of it. BibleHub.com, Revelation 14. The message of the three angels. Do you know the word angels means messengers? Look it up in the Greek. I'm getting to Revelation 14 here for you. Revelation 14. You ready? Make sure I'm in the right, yeah. So here's the scenario. Here's the scenario, Charlie's Angels. Here's the scenario. I would have thought that came from Dagger. They're before his time, though, aren't they? The Lamb, Mount Zion, 144,000. Where'd the 144,000 come from? The 12 tribes of Israel. That's not us. But then there was another angel. Do you see this? The people of the Lamb, the 144,000 in their story, they're one place. But then comes another messenger, a destroyer flying overhead with the eternal gospel. And did you know the word gospel is our word and they stole it? It means to proclaim the goodness of the victory of the heathens. And we're to proclaim it to everybody that dwells on earth. That's what I'm trying to do. Proclaim this to every people that dwell on earth. And say, fear the gods, only not fear. Here, this word fear means respect. Look it up. Respect the gods. Give them glory. The hour of their judgment has come. Recognize the ones that made the heavens and the earth, the original one before Yahweh destroyed it. That's the first angel. Hey, The gospel's ours. There's somebody that's been saying that. Maybe I am the destroyer. I don't know. I don't know of anybody else that's ever said that. Gospel means the victory of the heathens, and they stole our word. I've never heard anybody else say that, for what it's worth. Return to your gods. Return to the perfect earth. And what's the message? The second angel's message? The second messenger? It could be the same messenger with another message. Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. Who has made the nations drink of her wine? Only Abrahamism. They're the only one that forced people to drink of their wine. Who runs the passion of immorality? Wouldn't it be weird if you could look up pornography, prostitution, child trafficking, and it's all the same people? Well, if you do that, you find out who's Babylon the Great. And guess what? Soon we will preach the message, it's fallen. Then comes a third angel. If you worship that beast and take its image, receive its mark on your forehead or in your hand, give the power of your right hand, put the cross on your forehead, you see him do it. You will drink the wine of the God's anger, and it'll be undiluted because you've destroyed too much. And you will be destroyed. Here's a call for the perseverance of the saints. You keep the commandments of the real God and understand what the faith of Jesus really is. It's a blood religion. Blessed are all those that die in the name of the gods from this moment on. Didn't we just finish saying, and I didn't really plan this, everybody dies. The thing is to die well. How much better can a man die? I think the whole Abrahamic matrix is her. The only way to die well is for the ashes of your fathers and the temples of your gods. You looked and you saw a white cloud. I just want to stop at the three angels' message. So that's the three angels' message. What's the three angels' message? Fear the gods, come back to your gods. Give honor to those that created the original earth. The Abrahamic matrix is fallen. And if you take part in it, you will reap what you've sown. And this is the call of perseverance. So here's the end game right here. Here's what it's all about. Did you notice that there's three angels, three messages? And did you notice that on the most common iteration of our family crest, the Daugherty, there's what? 1, 2, 3 stars. Many times in the script, angels' messages are called stars. Is it just a coincidence that the destroyer's family has 3 stars? Is it just a coincidence that we kidnapped St. Patrick? Is it just a coincidence that a destroyer, an Daugherty, is bringing this three angels message? Is it a coincidence? Am I the destroyer? I am a destroyer for certain. And so are all of you. You're all destroyers. The parallels with me are interesting, but we are all working to destroy this Abrahamic matrix that we're suffering under. And this includes browns, yellows, blacks, and reds that are also working to destroy this Abrahamic matrix. I have to say, however, that to my knowledge, I'm alone in my assertion that our mission is to optimize ourselves, to be in position to receive help from an armada standing by. You could call that the physical destroyer that will rain fire on this land and destroy the forces that have stolen it. I'm the only one that brings this message that I know of. So am I the destroyer? I don't know. The D in dagger stands for destroy. It's official now. Well, how about that? We've come to the end of the D program.